For the first time in decades, China is raising their retirement age requirement. Low birth rates and lack of a young workforce make for some tough economic challenges, and China, along with the US and many of the world's developed nations, they have some tough decision making ahead of them. With falling birth rates and an aging workforce, China is raising their retirement age for the first time in decades. Now, this is likely to be an unpopular move, and it's likely to be met with criticism among the people. Even so, economists see this as a necessary move with a demographic crisis looming. Now, before we continue, let me just say that if you like content like this, leave a comment down below letting me know what you think. Make sure you subscribe for more content like this and hit that thumbs up button for me. For the first time in decades, China is raising their retirement age requirements. On Friday, China laid out a 15-year plan in order to gradually delay their retirement age starting January 1st. Now, right now, men in China who live in urban areas can retire at 60 with a pension, and women can do so at 50 or 55, depending on the type of work that they did. Now, those numbers are set to change gradually. The number is going to be 63 for men, and it's going to go up to 55 or 58 for women, again, depending on the type of work that they did. And also, China is looking to change the number of minimum years that you worked in order to receive your pension starting in 2030. Now, China has a pension system that's sort of similar to the Social Security system that we have here in the United States. Again, a little different, but the wording is they have a pension, and that's sort of like your Social Security that we have here. Now, with low birth rates and an aging population, that pension system is facing a crunch. And by estimates, it's expected that that pension fund is supposed to run out of money by 2035 under the way that things were going currently. Now, again, that sounds very, very similar to what we have here in the United States. And China, in an effort to not delay and wait until that time to make some changes, they are making some unpopular changes right now. And if you look online, you'll see a whole bunch of people criticizing these changes, upset that they have to wait for retirement even further. But even so, because of that pension funds running out quicker and quicker, China trying to be proactive and changing their retirement age requirements. China has also stated that another round of delays might be necessary in the late 2030s, based on how things go. And the thing with these low birth rates and just aging rapidly as far as a country goes, economically, you need a young workforce, a young growing workforce, in order to have a bright future. And China, the United States, Japan, many developed countries, they do not have that. We have populations that are just aging rapidly, and economically that poses a lot of different problems, and unfortunately these issues are only going to continue to get worse. Now, China's population has actually been declining for the last 2 years, and their birth rates, they're at their lowest numbers since I think like 1949. Is just, they are going in the opposite direction very quickly, and it's gonna hurt their economy. And the one child policy that they had in place for years, which is no longer in place, that has kind of hurt them, and they're starting to see the long-term effects of that. But also just the cost of living and the way that things are now. Things are extremely expensive. People are having less kids. People are more job focused, career focused, just to get by for themselves. And back before, you used to have people have 4, 5, 6 kids. That was more of a common thing. Nowadays, you do not see that as much. And in all honesty, a lot of people just can't afford it. And that's not the system that we currently live in. Well, economically, that does pose a lot of challenges. And when you have that young population, everybody's, working, and more people go into the workforce, and that means more money goes into that pension fund or Social Security fund here, and it starts to grow, or at least it's able to sustain itself. Well, the number of people going in is only declining while the number of people going out is increasing. And, those funds start to dwindle down, and the idea of them running out, just a scary thing that a lot of places understand that they are starting to deal with. China is sort of doing this in an effort right now in 2024, obviously, this starting in 2025, in an attempt to kind of get ahead of the curve. And this trend of an aging population shows no signs of decreasing. Now, for reference, right now, about 20% of China's population is considered to be elderly. That number is expected to increase to about 30% between 2030 and 2035. And by 2050, about 40% of their population is expected to be considered elderly. Now, that's going to make China a super aged society, and that just poses different challenges as the majority of your society is receiving pension benefits and is just kind of not adding to that workforce. It's going to make that pension fund, it's going to make certain taxes that the governments receive. It just poses so many different economic challenges. But again, low birth rates, with the way the cost of living and the way that everything is going, we do not see any real ways for that to be solved in any meaningful way coming up soon here. All in all, low birth rates and lack of a young workforce make for some tough economic challenges, and China, along with the US and many of the world's developed nations, they have some tough decision making ahead of them. If you like content like this, leave a comment down below letting me know what you think. Make sure you subscribe for more content like this and hit that thumbs up button for me.